Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with Astika Parva, chapter 39. Takshaka accosting the Rishi Kashyapa. O Kashyapa, if you can cure any creature that has been bitten by me, revive this tree once I have bitten it. O best of the Brahmins, I will set on fire this fig tree before your very eyes. Try your best and show me the power of the mantras that you have spoken of. Right? Kashyapa said, O king of snakes, if that is what you wish, bite the tree. O snake, I shall revive it once it has been bitten by you. Soti said, thus addressed by the great-souled Kashyapa, the king of snakes, supreme among snakes, went and bit the fig tree. Bitten by the great-souled snake, the tree imbibed the poison and flared up all around. When he had burnt the tree down, the snake again spoke to Kashyapa. O best of the Brahmanas, try your best and give life to this lord of the forest. The tree had been reduced to ashes from the energy of the king of the snakes. But picking up the ashes, Kashyapa uttered these words, O king of snakes, today you will witness the power of my knowledge. O snake, I will revive this lord of the forest in your very presence. Then the illustrious and learned Kashyapa, supreme among Brahmanas, revived through his learning the tree that had been reduced to a heap of ashes. First, he created a sapling. Then he created 2 leaves in it. Then he created twigs and branches. Then he regenerated the entire tree. On seeing that the tree had really been revived by the great-souled Kashyapa, Takshaka said, O Brahmana, it is wonderful that you can destroy my poison or that of others like me. O king of Brahmanas, O you who are blessed with the power of austerities, driven by what desire are you going there? I will give you whatever fruits you hope to gain from that best of kings, however difficult they may prove to get. O Brahmana, your success is uncertain, because that king has been afflicted with a Brahmin's curse. His life has been shortened. Your blazing flame, that is famous throughout the 3 worlds, will disappear like the sun robbed of his splendor. Kashyapa replied, O snake, I am going there for riches. O best of snakes, give it to me and I will return home. Takshaka said, O best of the Brahmanas, I will today give you more riches than you hope to get from the king. Therefore, return. Having heard what Takshaka had said, Kashyapa, supreme among the Brahmanas, intelligent and with great energy, meditated on the king. The powerful Kashyapa then learnt through his divine knowledge that the life of the Pandava. Why are you phoning me up? Mathura's phoning me up. What's up?
He looks disconnected.
Oh, all right. Okay. He'll be back in a couple of minutes. He got his power went down or something. So the powerful Kashyapa then learnt through his divine knowledge. Shall we wait for him? But he's got the record button.
Yeah. I think,
It's recording. Okay. So he perceived in his meditation that indeed the life of the king had been shortened. So even if you could save him, there's no point because he's going to die anyway.
Yeah. Let's have
So
some. Right.
he returned, receiving from Takshaka all the riches that he wanted to possess. At the great souled Kashyapa's departure, Takshaka hastened towards Hastinapur. On his way, Takshaka heard that the Lord of the Earth was leading a careful life, protected by mantras and herbs that cured poison. At that, the snake thought to himself, "The king must be deceived through my powers of Maya. But what is the best way?" In the disguise of ascetics, Takshaka sent some snakes to the king with fruits, leaves, and water as presents. Takshaka said, "Go swiftly to the king, as if you have a rite to perform. Make the king a present of the fruits, leaves, and water." Thus commanded by Takshaka, the snakes did this and took darba grass, water, and fruits for the king. The valorous king of kings accepted their presents. When the rites were performed, he gave them leave to depart. When those snakes, disguised as ascetics, had left, the king addressed his advisers and well-wishers. "All of you, eat with me the succulent fruits presented by these ascetics." O Shonaka, as the king was about to eat the fruit with his ministers, a small worm appeared in the fruit that had been picked up. It was tiny, with black eyes, and had the color of copper. Picking it up, the best of kings told his advisers, "The sun is setting. Today I no longer have any fear from poison. Therefore, let this worm become Takshaka and bite me. Let the words of the hermit become true, and let a falsehood not be committed." Driven by destiny, the advisers applauded him. Madhava's there, but still Mathura's dropped out somehow. But it's recording, so we're just continuing while he figures it out.
Well, maybe we should just get to the chapter and just, I don't know, think about something else.
It's recording.
Yeah, can't you pause it?
No, Mathura is in charge.
Okay.
Having said this, the king of kings smilingly placed the small worm on his throat, about to die and robbed of his senses. He was still laughing when Takshaka, who had come out of the fruit that had been given to the king, coiled around him. 40. Shoti said, "When the ministers saw their king in Takshaka's coils, their faces paled and they wept in great grief. Hearing his roars, the ministers began to flee. As they were running away in their grief, they saw the wonderful serpent, Takshaka, the king of snakes, flying through the sky like a streak with the color of a lotus parting heaven's hair. The palace that the king had inhabited was set on fire from the snake's poison and blazed away. In panic, they abandoned it and fled in all directions. The king fell down as if struck by lightning. When the king was struck down with Takshaka's energy, the royal priest, pure Brahmins, and all the king's advisers performed the funeral rites. All the citizens assembled and placed on the throne the king's young son. The people called him Janamejaya, the slayer of enemies and a hero of the Kuru lineage. Though only a child, that best of kings, the eldest of the bulls among the Kurus, was wise. Together with his ministers and priest, he ruled over the kingdom like his brave great-grandfather once had. Yudhishthira. Seeing that the king was now able to burn down his enemies, the king's ministers went to Suvarnavarman, the king of Kashi, and asked him to give his daughter Vapushtama in marriage. After inquiries, the king of Kashi married Vapushtama to that hero among the Kurus, in accordance with the precepts of Dharma. After obtaining her, he was very happy and never gave his heart to any other woman. In pursuit of pleasure, the valorous one, supreme among kings, roamed happily in lakes, blossoming woods, and forests, like Pururava did in ancient times on obtaining Urvasi. Vapushtama, the most beautiful among women, obtained a king of the earth as her husband, handsome husband, and at times of pleasure pleased him with great love. So, who knows about Pururava and Urvasi? Oh, Matsuri, you're back.
Yeah, I'm
Great.
back. What a
Okay.
palaver. What a fucking palaver. Okay,
Well,
I'm back.
don't worry.
How do I
You're
get this?
recording, are you?
It should be. It's still, I
Okay.
think it was recording the whole time I was away. It carried on.
Yes, that's why I carried on.
Yeah, no problem. I got to figure out how to get this cancel. Okay, I've got it. I'm back. Okay, I'm
All
with
right.
you. Where are you now?
Good.
Which page?
Well, you missed the king was bitten by Takshaka, who came in as a worm in his apple, and he came out
King
and
Parikshit.
then killed Parikshit. So Parikshit was quickly dispatched. They just said he died, and then they
Where
did the funeral.
which page are you on though?
We're on page 117. I was just about to start 41.
Okay, I'll just
So
I,
then
yeah,
uh, his son, his young son, the child Janamejaya, was
yeah.
installed as the king, and with his ministers, he governed the country.
When
Then
when that sorry, when Takshaka actually bit Parikshit, was it a big
he flew
dramatic
away.
thing?
Not well, yeah,
Or
kind of, but it was short, and then he flew away.
Yeah.
Takshaka flew away. So
like
he's
a
like a dragon,
dastardly, like every
bit like a
coward?
dragon, really. Eh? But the thing is, so then it gets through this information quite quickly. Where he came to marriageable age, they went to the king of Kashi and got his daughter. So Janamejaya was married to this girl called Vapushtama, and he was in love with her. And what I was asking the question was because there's an allusion here, a comparison to this Janamejaya and his young wife. They went around just like Pururava and Urvasi did in ancient times. So I just said, does anybody know about Pururava and Urvasi in ancient times?
I know from the posters from Ravi Varma, and I used to have it, but I never actually knew the story behind it. It's crazy. I had the image, and people told it to me, but it just went in and out the other. So please refresh us.
Well, it's in the ninth canto of the Bhagavatam when it starts dealing with the Soma Vamsa, the moon dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
So Pururava was one also called Aila, was the son of Ela, and he was
You
one
mean
of the
Chandravamsa?
yes, yeah. And so what was I saying? Yeah, Pururava and Urvasi was under a curse and was thrown out of heaven and had to be a mortal and was driven to the bed of a mortal. So she fell in love with Pururava and she agreed to live with him on condition that she should never see him naked except at the times of coition and to look after her pet sheep, 2 lambs she had. So that goes wrong
Do you know what
sometimes.
the poster was? The poster was Urvasi flying up to heaven with her sari flowing down.
Right.
Him, what's his name? Puruvara,
Pururava.
He's a beautiful setting. He's got a moustache like man, and he's got like that. And she's saying, "Bye, I told you so."
Yeah. It's an amazing story. But he
Yeah.
does eventually attain her and go to her world.
Oh well, you see, love never dies, does it?
So anyway, it was just, I wondered if anybody picked up on that allusion, because it's talking about Janamejaya and his new wife Vapushtama going around on honeymoon, and just like Pururava and Urvashi in olden times.
And
See,
I think that
if you know the stories, then you get these allusions. You see,
yeah. We have a
Okay.
Monsieur Braja has joined us, I think.
Yes, he's there. Yeah, he's there. Oh, you can see his shoulder.
I can
There.
see his halfway, he's split down the middle like Ardaneshwar.
Well, he'll take a turn anyway.
Okay.
So Shoti said, chapter 41.
Okay, there we go. Back again. Okay.
About this time, the great ascetic. Now, this you'll remember because we're going back again. The great ascetic Jaratkaru roamed the entire earth. Having adopted the vow of sleeping at night wherever he happened to find himself in the evening, the immensely energetic hermit roamed around, bathing in the waters of many tirthas, practicing vows that those who lack in resolution find impossible to accomplish, abstaining from food and living on air, thus drying up his body from one day to another. He saw, now if you remember, his ancestors suspended head downward in a cave, hanging onto a single strand of grass. Even that single strand was being eaten away by a rat that lived in the cave. Without food, they were lean and in a wretched state, eagerly awaiting their deliverance. Himself in a wretched state, he went to those wretched ones and asked, "Who are you?" hanging from this single strand of grass, which becomes weaker as the rat that lives in the cave gnaws at its roots. The rat is slowly biting away the root of the strand still left with its sharp teeth, and soon the little that is left of the strand will break. There is no doubt that you will then fall, head downwards, into the cave. Seeing you hang upside down and in this miserable state, I am extremely distressed. How can I help? Quickly tell me if I can prevent this calamity by giving you a quarter, a third, or even half of my austerities. Or if you can save yourselves with all my austerities, I am willing to do that. What is best? The ancestors replied. Remember, they don't know who he is just yet.
Oh, I see. They don't know. Okay.
But it's slightly more detailed than the previous
But
account.
they know that he's an ancestor, but they don't know which ancestor.
No,
They
they don't know. You'll see.
okay.
The ancestors replied, "O Brahmin, you are old and celibate, and you wish to deliver us. O best of Brahmanas, you cannot save us with your austerities. O son, O supreme among eloquent speakers, our state is the outcome of austerities. We are descending into this hell because of lack of offspring. O son, hanging in this cave, our knowledge has become dim. Therefore, though you are famous in the world because of your manliness, we do not know you. You are old, you have great good fortune, and you sorrowfully grieve for us. O Brahmana, learn who we are and the reason behind the grief. We are rishis named Yayavaras, rigid in their vows. We have been cast off from the holy regions because of lack of offspring. Our sacred austerities have not all been destroyed yet, and we have a single strand left. We have a single strand left. But it matters little whether it exists or not. We have bad fortune or little fortune. We have a single strand in our lineage. He is known as Jaratkadu, and he is learned in the Vedas and the Vedangas. He is great souled, rigid in his vows, a great ascetic, and is in control of his senses. But in his greed for austerities, he has reduced us to this state. He has no wife, no son, and no relatives. Having lost our senses, that is the reason we are hanging in this cave, like those without protectors. If you meet him, out of kindness for us, tell him that his wretched ancestors are hanging head downwards from a cave. Tell that Holy One that he should have a wife and offspring. O Brahmana, O one blessed with the power of austerities, this single strand of grass that you see, the one from which we are hanging, is the strand of our family lineage. O Brahmana, the strand that you see being eaten up by time. O Brahmana, the half-eaten root from which we are all hanging is the last of our lineage, practicing austerities. O Brahmana, the rat that you see is time, immensely powerful. He is slowly killing the misguided Jaratkaru engaged in austerities, who is greedy for austerities, but has lost his mind and senses. O Supreme One, his austerities cannot deliver us. Our roots have been destroyed, we have fallen, and our senses have been confounded by time. Look at us, descend downwards into hell like sinners. We are descending with all our earlier ancestors. Severed by time, he too will descend into hell. O son, austerities, sacrifices, and other sacred and great acts are inferior to obtaining offspring. That is the view of the learned. When you see him, tell all this to that ascetic Jaratkaru. O Brahmana, if you wish to be our protector, describe in detail what you have witnessed to him and deliver our message that he should have a wife and offspring.
Wow. I think you should just carry on a bit. I just carry on. Yeah, it's just great.
All right. Oh, okay. 42. Soti said, having heard all this, Jaratkaru became extremely miserable with grief. He told his ancestors in a voice that was choked with tears, I am that Jaratkaru, your evil son. I have committed a foolish wrong. Please punish me. The ancestors replied, not in all this detail. O son, O Brahmana, it is fortunate that you have happened to come here. Why have you not taken a wife? Jaratkaru said, Oh, ancestors, it has always been my objective to carry my seed inside my body and to take this entire body to the next world. Oh, grandfathers, but having seen you hanging here like birds, my mind has been diverted from the life of celibacy. There is no doubt that I will do that which brings pleasure to you. If I get a lady who bears my own name, who comes to me of her own volition, who comes to me as alms, and whom I will not have to maintain, I will accept her as my wife. O ancestors, otherwise I will not marry. That is my truthful promise. Having said this to the ancestors, the sage continued to roam the earth. O Shonaka, though he grew old, he could not find a wife. He was sorry that he was not successful in keeping his promise to his ancestors. He went to the forest and cried out aloud in his grief, Whatever creatures there are, mobile or immobile, visible or invisible, hear my words. I am a man engaged in severe austerities, but my grief-stricken ancestors told me to have a wife. Instructed by my ancestors and wishing to marry and do what they want, I am now roaming the world, poor and miserable, looking for a maiden in as alms. If any of the beings I have addressed has a daughter, please bestow that daughter on me, since I am wandering in all directions. The maiden has to have the same name as mine. She has to be given to me as alms, and I should not need to maintain her. I ask for such a maiden. Thereupon, the snakes, who had been appointed to watch over Jaratkaru, took this news about his intentions to Vasuki. Hearing this, the king of snakes immediately went to the forest where the hermit was, taking his maiden sister with him, adorned with various ornaments. O Brahmana, having gone there, Vasuki, the king of snakes, offered the maiden as alms to that great-souled sage. But he did not immediately accept her, thinking that she might not have the same name, and that the issue of maintaining her remained unsettled. He hesitated and was in two minds about accepting her. O descendant of the Brigu lineage! He then asked Vasuki for the maiden's name and said that he would not support her. Let someone else have a go now. I've read. I'll see how many pages I've read.
I'll do it. Okay.
I've read
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half.
I'll just
So
write.
43.
Oh, yeah,
You got-
there. I got it right here. Yeah.
I'm going to I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, okay. Soti said, then Vasuki told the rishi Jarat Karu, this maiden has the same name as yours. She is my sister and is an ascetic. O best of the Brahmanas, I shall support her. O one blessed with the power of austerities, I shall protect her with all my might. When the snake bird made the promise that he would maintain his sister, Jarat Karu went to the snake's house. Thereupon the aged sage of great vows, best among ascetics, devoted to Dharma and learned in mantras, accepted her hand in accordance with the prescribed rites. Worshipped by Maharshis, he went with his wife to a beautiful house built by the king of snakes. In that house, there was a beautiful bed covered with unmatched spreads, and Jarat Karu slept there with his wife. At that time, the Supreme One made an arrangement with his wife. Never do anything or say anything that causes me displeasure. If you ever cause me displeasure, I shall leave you and no longer live in this house. Please remember these words. Excuse me. I have spoken. In great anxiety and great sorrow, the sister of the king of snakes agreed. Wishing to bring pleasure to her husband, the fortunate one served her melancholy husband with the dedication of a white crow. Wow, what's a white crow? Okay, wait, I've just got to wipe my glasses. The white crow.
Is it a crow or a cow?
Crow.
Okay.
This is it says this is a footnote. This is an unhappy translation. Though white crow is right, however, the sense is that the dedication has the watchfulness of a dog, the timidity of a deer, and the instinct of a crow. Anyway, I don't know if that makes anything with the okay. One day at the time of her season, Vasuki's sister bathed and followed the norms, slept with her husband, the great hermit. She then conceived a child who was like the fire, blessed with the power of austerities and radiant like the god of fire himself. Like the moon in the bright lunar fortnight, the child grew in her womb. A few days later, the immensely famous Jarat Karu fell asleep with his head in his wife's lap, like a tired person. When the best of the Brahmanas was sleeping, the setting sun entered the peaks of the mountains. O Brahmana, Vasuki's excellent sister was frightened at the possible loss of Dharma because the day was coming to an end. What shall I do now? Should I wake my husband or should I not? He leads a hard life and is devoted to Dharma. How can I act so as not to cause him offense? On one side is his anger, on the other side, and on the other, since he lives by Dharma, there is the loss of Dharma. It seems to me that the loss of Dharma is the greater evil. If I wake him, he will certainly be angry, but if the time for evening prayers passes, he will certainly lose Dharma. Having thought like this over in her mind, the snake Jarat Karu spoke in a sweet voice to the Rishi, asleep like a fire, blazing in his austerities. O greatly illustrious one, wake up! The sun is setting. O illustrious one, O one who is rigid in his vows, touch the water and perform the evening prayers. The fearful and beautiful moment for Agnihotra has arrived. O Lord, dusk is gradually spreading over the western direction. Having been thus addressed, the illustrious and great ascetic Jarat Karu told his wife, his lips quivering in anger, "O snake, you have insulted me. I shall no longer live with you. I'll go away to the place from where I had come. O lady with the beautiful thighs, if I am asleep, I know for certain that the sun does not have the power to set. No one likes to stay in a place where he has been insulted, let alone those who are like me and are devoted to Dharma like me." Thus addressed by her husband, Jarat Karu's heart began to tremble. Vasuki's sister told him, "Oh, Brahmana, I did not wake you with a desire to insult you. I did it so that you would not face a loss in Dharma." But the powerful ascetic Jarat Karu had made up his mind to abandon his wife. Addressed by his wife, the Rishi angrily told the snake, "O snake, I have never uttered a lie, therefore I have to go. O beautiful one, that was the agreement I had earlier made with you and your brother. O fortunate one, I have passed my time happily with you. O timid one, when I am gone, tell your brother that the illustrious one has left, and when I have departed, please do not grieve for me." Having thus been addressed, the beautiful Jarat Karu was filled with anxiety and sorrows. Her mouth was dry, her eyes were full of tears, her voice choked with sobs, her heart trembled. But steadying herself, the beautiful one then told her husband, Jarat Karu, with joined palms, "O you who follow the path of Dharma, it is not proper for you to forsake me in this fashion. I am innocent. You are established in Dharma, but I am also established in Dharma, doing that which brings you pleasure. O best of Brahmanas, I have not yet accomplished the purpose for which I was given to you. I'm unfortunate. What will Vasuki tell me, O Supreme One? To save themselves from their mother's curse, my relatives wanted a son born from me through you, but that he is not yet visible. The welfare of my relatives depends on a son obtained through you. O Brahmana, I plead with you that you should not go away until I am fertile through our union and can bring about the welfare of my lineage. O Supreme One, why should a great-souled one like you abandon an innocent one when the conception is still not apparent?" Thus addressed, the hermit Jarat Karu, blessed with the powers of austerities, told his wife words that were fit and appropriate for the occasion. "O fortunate one, the one who is in your womb now will be a rishi, who will be like the god of fire himself. He will be the best of those who follow Dharma, and he will be learned in the Vedas and the Vedangas." Having said this, the virtuous and great rishi, Jarat Karu, went away. His heart was once again firmly fixed on the practice of the great austerities. Now, wait a minute, she was pregnant or what?
Yes, yes, she's pregnant.
Why was she saying that you're going and I'm not pregnant?
Because she didn't know she was pregnant.
But they'd had it. They'd had fun.
He knew by his yeah, they
Okay.
had union, and he
Okay.
knew that she was pregnant.
Okay. So it's all's well that end well, really. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay,
I
moving
have a
on.
question. Is there a little typo earlier where she refers to herself as Jarat Karu? It seems there was a little confusion there. Or was it just me?
Oh,
because
yes.
they're both called Jarakkaru,
Right.
wasn't it? His wife
Is
had
it?
to have the same name.
Oh,
they
they
Both
had
were
the same.
Jarakkaru.
Okay. Actual. Okay, gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
All these little nuances. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
With you.
And I'm going to carry on a little bit.
Yes, please do.
Thanks, man.
Oh, it's high drama, isn't it? Really?
Totally.
Oh my God. Woo. Okay, carrying on, proceeding. Soti said, O one blessed with the power of austerities. As soon as her husband left, Jarat Karu went to her brother and told him what had happened. The best of the snakes heard this unpleasant news and told his sister, who was more miserable than he was, O fortunate one, you know what had to be done and why you were given. A son was supposed to be born for the welfare of the snakes. That valorous one was supposed to have saved us from the snake sacrifice. In ancient times, this is what the grandfather and the gods told me. O fortunate one, have you conceived through the best of sages? It is my wish that the wise man's marriage should not be fruitless. Without a doubt, it is not appropriate that I should ask you a question on such a subject, but the subject is too serious for me not to ask you. I know that your husband is always engaged in austerities and is prone to anger. I shall not follow him because he might curse me. O fortunate one, tell me what your husband has done and thereby pull out that terrible stake that has been implanted for a long time in my heart. Being thus asked, Jarat Karu consoled the tormented Vasuki, king of snakes, and said, I asked the great souled and great ascetic about offspring. He said, it is there, and left. I do not recollect his ever having spoken a lie, even in jest. O king, why should he then utter a lie on such a serious subject? He said, O snake woman, do not sorrow over the fruit of your action. A son, resplendent as the fire and the sun, will be born to you. O brother, having said this, my husband went away to his hermitage. Let the great distress that preys on your mind be removed. On hearing this, Vasuki, the king of the snakes, was delighted and accepted his sister's words. Whew. The best of the snakes worshipped his sister with kindness, appropriate praise, gifts, and homage. O best of the Brahmanas, the immensely radiant embryo grew in her womb like the luminescent sun, like the moon waxing in the sky during the Shukla Paksha. O Brahmana, at the appropriate time, the snake's sister gave birth to a son who was like a divine child, the destroyer of the fears of his father and mother. He grew up in the house of the kings of snakes and studied the Vedas and Vedangas from the sage Jayavana, the son of Bhrigu. Even as a child, he was strict in adherence to his vows and gifted with intelligence, spirituality, and qualities. He became famous in the worlds by the name of Astika. He was known as Astika because while he was still in his mother's womb, his father went away to the forest saying, Asti. Even as a child, he was, what does that mean? It can be translated, it is there. Ah, okay, cool. I like that. That's a cool one. Even as a child, he was extremely intelligent. He was carefully watched over in the house of the kings of snakes. He
It
was
just
like,
means is. It just means is.
okay. In other words, that's what the sage said. It's
Yeah,
there, you know.
it
Yeah,
is. It
yeah.
is.
It is. It is. You know, it's cool. That's so cool. Wow. No wonder rishis are rishis. Okay. They could just say it is, and it is. He was like the golden and illustrious lord Shulapani, Shiva, the lord of the gods. To the great delight of all the snakes, he grew up. Soti replied, okay, I'm gonna just carry on a little bit more. I'm into it. Shonaka asked, at that time, what did Janmajaya ask his ministers about the father's ascent to heaven? Tell me that again in detail. Soti replied, O Brahmana, hear what the king asked his ministers and all that they told him about Parikshit's death. Janmajaya said, you know all that happened to my father and how my greatly illustrious father came about his death. When I have heard all about my father in complete detail from you, I shall learn all that is good and not that which is evil. Being asked by the great-souled King Janmejaya, the virtuous and wise ministers replied, "Your father was devoted to Dharma, great-souled, and a protector of his subjects. Hear how the great-souled one led his life. The four Varnas were respectively established in their own dharmas, and the king, who was himself well versed with Dharma, protected them there in accordance with the dictates of Dharma. Illustrious and with infinite might, he protected the goddess Earth. He hated no one, nor did anyone hate him. Like Prajapati himself, he treated all beings impartially. O king, established in their respective duties, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras were protected impartially by the king. He maintained widows, orphans, the disabled, and the poor. He was handsome and like another moon to all creatures. Through that truthful and greatly powerful king, everyone was content and blessed with good fortune. The king became Sharadvata's student in the science of weapons. Sharadvata, it doesn't say who that was. Okay.
Sharadvata is Kripacharya.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. O Janmejaya Govinda. O Janmejaya, Govinda loved your father. He was immensely famous and loved by all the worlds. He was born in Uttara's womb when the Kuru lineage was almost destroyed. Therefore, Sobhadra's powerful son came to be known as Parikshit. So what does Parikshit actually mean then? Oh, Madan's gone. Okay. The king was learned in royal norms of Dharma and Artha and had all the qualities. He was in control of his senses and of himself. He was intelligent and was served by those who were wise. He had great wisdom and was completely familiar with the norms of righteous conduct. He had conquered the 6 vices. Your father protected his subjects for 60 years. His end was preordained through a snake, and it couldn't be avoided. O best of men, after him, you have lawfully ascended this ancestral kingdom of the Kurus and will rule for 1,000 years. Wow. O protector of every king, you were instated when you were a child. Jamajai said, in our lineage, no king has ever been born who did not look after the welfare of his subjects and please them. Consider especially the conduct of my grandfathers, who were always devoted to a great life. How did my father, who was like them, come to his end? Describe it accurately for me. I wish to hear it. Soti said, thus asked by the king, the ministers, who were always engaged in that which brought pleasure to the king, told him everything that had happened. The ministers said, O king, your father was always addicted to hunting. Like the greatly fortunate warrior and great archer Pandu, he handed over all matters concerning the running of his kingdom to us. On one occasion, he was roaming in the forest and pierced a deer with an arrow. Having thus shot the deer, he pursued it deep into the forest, alone and on foot, with his sword, quiver, and bow ready. But your father could not find that lost deer deep inside the forest. He was 60 years old and aged and felt tired and hungry. He then saw a great sage in that great forest. The Lord of Kings asked the sage, who at that time was observing a vow of silence, and thus the sage did not reply to any of the questions. In his vow of silence, the sage sat motionless and peaceful like a piece of wood, and hungry and thirsty, and not knowing that the sage was observing a vow of silence, the king became angry with the sage. Being angry, your father insulted the sage, O best of the Bharat lineage. With the end of his bow, he picked up a dead snake from the ground and placed it around the shoulders of that pure-souled sage. But that wise one did not utter a word, good or bad, and did not become angry. He remained as he was, with the snake around his shoulders. So, Kanai, you want to take over? You ready?
Yes.
Great.
The ministers said, O Lord of Kings, having placed the snake around the shoulders of the sage, the king, who was weak with hunger, returned to his own city. The rishi had an immensely famous son named Shringi, who had been born from a cow. He was extremely powerful, with great energy and prone to extreme anger. This sage had gone to Brahma to worship him. O tiger of the Kuru lineage, when he was given leave to depart, he was returning and learnt from a friend how your father had insulted his father, how your father had hung a dead snake around his father's shoulders, and that he still bore it, though he had done no injury. O king, his father was a great ascetic and supreme among sages. He was pure and had control over his senses and the performer of wonderful deeds. His soul was radiant with the power of his austerities, and he had control over all his limbs. His practices were pure, and his words were also pure. He was perfectly balanced, without avarice, without pettiness, and without jealousy. He was old, and he was under a vow of silence. He was the refuge of all beings. Such was the person your father insulted. However, the rishi's son cursed your father in anger. Though he was still a child, he had great energy and the radiance that comes with age. He instantly touched water and, blazing with energy, angrily spoke about your father. Look at the power of my austerities. An evil one has left a dead snake around my innocent father's shoulders. Within 7 nights from now, the angry and radiant snake Takshaka will burn him down with the energy of his poison. Having said this, he went to where his father was. On seeing his father, he told him about the curse he had uttered. That tiger among sages sent a message to your father. O Lord of the earth, you have been cursed by my son that Takshaka will burn you down with his poison. O king, be prepared. O Janamejaya, on hearing this terrible news, your father was alarmed and took every possible precaution against Takshaka, supreme among snakes. When the 7th day arrived, a Brahmarshi named Kashyapa was on his way to visit the king. Takshaka, chief among snakes, saw Kashyapa as he was hurrying and asked him, "Where are you going so swiftly? What is it that you want to do?" Kashyapa replied, "O Brahmana, I am going to where King Parikshit, the best of the Kurus. Today he will be killed by the snake Takshaka. I am hurrying there so that I can cure him from his fever. If I protect him, no snake can oppress him." Takshaka said, "O Brahmana, why do you wish to revive the king after I have bitten him? Don't hesitate to tell me what your desire is, and I will give it to you. Return home." When he said he was going there with the desire of acquiring riches, the snake told the great-souled one in pleasant words, "O unblemished one, take from me more riches than you hope to obtain from the king and return." Thus addressed by the snake, Kashyapa, best among men, obtained as much of riches as he obtained from Takshaka and returned. After the Brahmana returned, Takshaka disguised himself and went to your virtuous father, king and best of kings. He was fully prepared in his palace, but he burnt him with the fire of his poison. O tiger among men, it was after this that you victoriously ascended the throne. Best among kings, though the account is extremely terrible, we have told you everything in entirety, the way it was seen and heard. O supreme among kings, you have now heard how that great king was destroyed and how the rishi Shamika was insulted. Now do what needs to be done. Janamejaya said, "I first wish to hear what was said between Kashyapa and the chief among snakes in that deserted forest." Who witnessed what transpired, and how did you hear this? After I have heard this, I will think of a means to destroy the snakes. The ministers said, O king, listen to how we came to know about the encounter between the chief among the Brahmanas and the chief among the snakes. O Lord of the earth, a man had climbed a tall tree, looking for dry twigs that could be used as kindling for a sacrificial fire. Perched on the tree, he was not seen by the Brahmin or the snake. O king, he was also reduced to ashes along with the tree. O Lord of kings, the Brahmana's powers revived him along with the tree. O chief among kings, he later returned to the city and told us the story. What we recounted to you about the encounter between Takshaka and the Brahmana was exactly as it happened and exactly as it was witnessed. O king, O tiger among kings, now that you have heard it, decide what must be done. Sauti said, and hearing the words of his ministers, King Janamejaya burnt in grief and wrung his hands. The lotus-eyed king heaved long and deep sighs and wept, tears streaming from his eyes. Struck with deep grief, the Lord of the earth said, I have heard from you the account of my father's ascent to heaven. Now hear from me what my firm decision is. I think no time should be lost in taking action against the evil Takshaka, since he is the one who killed my father. That evil one alone burnt the king and made Shringi's curse come true. If the evil one had gone, my father would surely have been alive. What harm could have come to him had the king been revived through Kashyap's blessings and the precautions taken by his ministers? It was his delusion that made him prevent Kashyapa, supreme among Brahmins, from reviving the invincible king. The transgression of the evil Takshaka is a great one. He gave riches to the Brahmin so that he might not revive the king. My father must be avenged, to bring great pleasure to me, Utanka, and all of you. Sauti said, when the illustrious king uttered these words, the ministers approved, and the king took an oath that he would undertake a snake sacrifice. The Lord of the earth, Parikshit's son, and the king, who was a tiger of the Bharata lineage, then summoned his priests and officiating priests who knew about the sacrifice. He who was eloquent in the uttered words that would make the deed successful said, I must act against the evil Takshaka who brought violence to my father. Please tell me what I must do. Do you know of an act whereby the snake Takshaka and his relatives can be hurled into the blazing fire? Just as my father was earlier burnt with the poison, I wish to burn that evil snake. The officiating priests replied, O king, there is a sacrifice that the gods have recommended for those like you. It is known as the snake sacrifice, and it is described in the ancient tales. O Lord of men, no one but you can offer this sacrifice. Those who know the ancient tales have told us there is such a sacrifice, and we know it. O Supreme One, thus addressed, the Rajarshi thought that Takshaka had already been hurled into the mouth of a blazing fire and burnt. The king then told the Brahmanas, who were learned in the mantras, I will perform the sacrifice. Collect the required ingredients. O Supreme among the Brahmanas, thereupon the officiating priests, who were heard in their resolve and learned in the Shastras, measured out a piece of land as the sacrificial platform in accordance with the prescribed rites. It was graced by the presence of many learned Brahmanas and adorned with every valuable object, abundant quantities of riches and food grains. Before the snake sacrifice could begin, they then instated the king on this sacrificial platform. Earlier, when the sacrificial platform was being built and the sacrifice had not started, a great incident occurred that suggested the sacrifice might be disrupted. There was a man who was a suitor, He was an extremely wise builder and one who was skilled in the knowledge of architecture. He was also a raconteur of ancient tales. This bard said, "The land on which the platform was constructed and the time at which it was measured indicate that this sacrifice will not be completed. The Brahmana will be the cause." On hearing this, before being instated, the king instructed the doorkeeper that no one should be allowed entry without his knowledge. The snake sacrifice then started according to the prescribed norms. The officiating priests, who were learned in their respective duties, went about prescribed tasks. They dressed themselves in black garments and their eyes became red from the smoke. Chanting mantras, they offered oblations into the sacrificial fire. As they poured oblations into the mouth of the fire and uttered the names of the snakes, the hearts of the snakes trembled in fear. Thereafter, the snakes dropped into the blazing flames, wretched and screaming piteously at each other. They swirled, breathed hard, and intertwined their heads and tails. In large numbers, they fell into the blazing fire, white, black, blue, old, and young. Crying out terrible screams, they fell into the lofty and blazing flames in hundreds, thousands, millions, and tens of millions. O supreme among Brahmanas, many snakes perished powerless. Among those which perished, some were small as rats, others large as trunks of elephants, or gigantic and immensely strong like mad elephants. Snakes of many colors, poisonous, terrible, like clubs, and with immense strength, fell into the fire in large numbers as a consequence of their mother's curse. Shonaka said, "At the snake sacrifice of the wise king Janamejaya of the Pandava lineage, who were the supreme rishis who acted as sacrificial priests? Who were the Sadasyas at that terrible snake sacrifice that brought great fear and misery to the snakes? O son, you should describe this in detail." O son of a Sutta, we should know about those who knew the secrets of the snake sacrifice. Sauti said, "I shall certainly tell you the names of those wise ones who became Ritvijas and Sajasas for the king. The Hotar was the Brahmana Chandabhargav, who was born in Chavana's lineage and was famous as one who was learned in the Vedas. The wise old Brahmana Kotsalya Jaimini was the Udgatar. Shangarav was the Brahman and Bodha Pingala was the Advaryu. Vyasa was a Sajasa, together with his sons as disciples. Udalaka, Shamatak, Shvetaketu, Panchama, Asita, Devala, Narada, Parvata, Atreya, Kundajatara, the Brahmana Kutigata, Vatisa, the old Shrutashrawa, who was always engaged in austerities and studying, Kauda, Devasharma, Modgalya, and Samasorba. These and many other Brahmanas who were rigid in their vows became Sadhyasas in Parikshit's son's sacrifice. When the officiating priests began to offer oblations into the flames of that great snake sacrifice, terrible snakes that struck fear into living creatures began to fall into the fire. The fat and the marrow of the snakes thus burnt in the sacrificial fire and flowed like rivers, creating an intolerable stench as snakes continuously burnt. The screams of snakes that fell into the fire, and those which were in the sky and were about to fall in, and those that burnt, were piteous. Meanwhile, as soon as Takshaka, king of snakes, heard that King Janamejaya had been instated in the snake sacrifice, he went to Purandara's palace. Purandara's Indra. The supreme snake told Purandara everything, and confessing the evil that he had done, fearfully sought refuge. Indra was very pleased and told him, O Takshaka, O king of snakes, you have nothing to fear here from the snake sacrifice. For your sake, I have already pacified the grandfather, Brahma. Therefore, you need not be afraid. Drive this fever away from your mind. Thus being reassured, the supreme among the snakes happily lived in Shakra's palace. But Vasuki became extremely distressed on seeing that many snakes were continuously falling into the fire and only a few remained in his lineage. Vasuki, supreme among the snakes, was miserable with grief and told his sister with a grieving heart, "O fortunate one, my limbs are burning. I can no longer see the directions. I am about to fall because I have lost consciousness. My mind is whirling. My sight is failing. My heart is about to burst. Completely numbed, I may fall into the blazing fire without resisting. Parikshit's son's sacrifice will go on until he has exterminated our race. It is clear that I must also go to the land of the ancestors. O sister, the time for which I gave you to Jaradkaru has come. O sister, save us and our race. O supreme among the snakes, Astika will send the sacrifice that is being performed." In
That's
earlier,
a typo there. It's
yeah,
end
was
the
that?
sacrifice.
Sorry,
Astika will end the sacrifice.
end. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, that
where are we exactly? I went away for a second. Which page and number where?
133.
Where?
That top paragraph in the middle.
Okay.
O sister, save us and our race. O supreme among snakes, Astika will end the sacrifice that is being performed. In earlier times, the grandfather himself told me this. O sister, therefore, tell your beloved son, who is learned in the Vedas and respected even by those who are aged, to save me and those who are dependent on me. Can I have a break from reading now?
Sure. Does Braja want to read?
Braja is going to read now.
That was great. That's really good. God, it's so good. Amazing, isn't it, this story?
Yeah.
It's really quite macabre as well.
Yeah. Really, yeah. Can really
Very,
go
I
there.
mean, what could be more macabre than hundreds of weird, every kind of weird snake you've ever thought of? Because that's one of the most fearful.
But also, yeah.
Yeah, and the more, and the vengeance and the suffering and all of the. I was really feeling sorry for those snakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Were you? I don't know. How did it affect you? I was feeling this is all a bit indulgent.
Yeah,
Anyway.
there's no right, or it feels like there's I don't know, it's just sort of like things happening.
Yeah.
It's been terrible things.
Yeah. And it's
Wait
like
till they start massacring humans during the Kurukshetra war.
Yeah, it's all kind of like, well, it's just death, it's because everybody in India knows that you are the soul and it's all samsara, so it's all kind of leela, even death.
These guys had that power as well. They could just, they could buy the power of mantra and sacrifice, and even they can foretell that this place is, it's suitable for the yagya, but you're not going to be able to complete it. It's like, wow. Like,
but even Genghis Khan and all of those guys, they all were kind of like, and the Vikings, it was all like die for valor. They weren't frightened of dying. Because they lived in a mindset that this is all temporary and we're all going to go and live in Valhalla, and we're going to shag maidens in paradise if we're Muslims, or we're going to die, we're going to die valiantly. So let's just do it. We're all warriors. Let's kill and blood and gore.
Death is just the door to the next realm.
Yeah. So it's fun, but it is anyway. It's dramatic. I always imagine paintings. Can you imagine the painting of that, the fire with just? Has anybody ever done it before? I'm not sure. Hundreds
Not
of
that I've seen.
snakes being roasted on fire.
I think there could be something like an old picture I saw in
Gita Press, maybe.
Gita Press, yeah, Gita Press, I
I
think.
got a feeling they would have it because they do everything.
It came to mind as I was listening to it. I mean, can you imagine just coming from the sky, all these, a mass of all the, I mean, even the term, though, we use the term snake, but what kind of beings were they? They could speak, they could communicate, they could, what exactly, it's a bit broad, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just,
that's what I don't understand. That's what I
Oh,
don't.
dragons, flying snakes,
Dragons, yeah. I mean, when they lived in China, I mean, snakes and dragons, I mean, they worship. They have their big dragon festival,
Well,
and they
apparently
practice
also
worshipping
call
the dragon, and they're like, wow, yeah, Takshaka's people,
Takshaka is what they call the snake, the dragon snake in Japan and China.
Yeah.
Anyway, let Roger continue.
Yeah. I'll go after Braj then. Huh?
Oh, you got
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on board. Yeah.
Next. Soti said, at that, the snake woman Jaratkaru called her son and told him what Vasuki, king of the Nagas, had told her. O son, the time has come for attaining the objective for which my brother had given me to your father. Therefore, do what is necessary. Astika said, why were you given by my uncle to my father? Tell me in detail so that I can do what is necessary. Jaratkaru, the sister of the king of snakes, wished to bring among the welfare of her relatives. Bring about the welfare of her relatives. She resolutely told him, it is said that the mother of all snakes is Kadru. Hear now hear how she came to curse her sons in anger. She said, O sons, you have refused to change the color of Ucheshrava, the king of horses, despite my asking, and because of the wager, have made me a slave to Vinata. Therefore, the god of fire will burn you in Janamejaya sacrifice. Thus, being reduced to the 5 elements, you will go to the land of the dead. The great god, grandfather of all worlds, himself heard this curse being uttered and approved. O son, on hearing this curse and the words of the grandfather, Vasuki sought refuge with the gods after the churning of the ocean was over.
I'm a bit confused there. Sorry, at that whole little section.
The mother's telling Astika what.
The mother Jaratkaru, who is the sister of Vasuki, is explaining to Astika what's where that curse came from, why they're all burning up,
why she was given to his father.
Why she was given to his father, and what's the purpose of his birth and what he has to do to free them.
Okay. I can't remember about this changing the color of Uchishrava. Have we gone through that kind of thing?
Yes, remember when Vinata and Kadru, the 2 wives of Kashyapa Rishi, who are the mother of all snakes, Kadru, and the mother of Garuda, had this wager about is Usheshrava's tail white or black?
Oh, right.
And the first time around, the snakes went and covered the tail and made it black. So then she was enslaved for 500 years.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they refused to do it again because they were scared of Garuda. So they switched back to the other one being the slave of the other.
Right. Oh, it's hard to follow. Anyway, yeah, let's go forward. Yeah, thanks.
Once they had obtained their objective and got the supreme Amrita, the gods went to Prajapati, Brahma.
Where are we again? Sorry, I've lost it.
134, top of the page.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Once they had obtained their objective and got the supreme Amrita, the gods went to Prajapati Brahma with their brother, Vasuki, leading the way. All the gods and King Vasuki sought to placate the grandfather so that the curse might have no effect. The gods said, O Lord, Vasuki, the king of snakes, feels sorry for his relatives. How can his mother's curse be rendered ineffective? Brahma replied, Jaratkaru will marry a wife named Jaratkaru. The Brahmana who will be born will save the snakes from the curse. O godlike son, when Vasuki, the Lord of the Snakes, heard this, he gave me to your great-souled father long before this incident, before the snake sacrifice. You were born from me and your father. That time has now come, and you should save us from the fear. You should save me and my brother from the fire, so that the reason for which I was given to your wise father is not rendered futile. O son, what do you think? On hearing his mother's words, Ashtika then agreed. He addressed the suffering Vasuki and brought fresh life into him. O Vasuki, O supreme among snakes, I will save you. I truly tell you that I shall free you from this curse. O snake, be reassured and banish all fear. O tranquil one, I shall endeavor to bring about your welfare. No one can say that my tongue has ever uttered a lie, even in jest. Do not speak of serious occasions. O uncle, I will go to Janamijaya, supreme among kings, now instated in the sacrifice. I shall please him with words that bring him good fortune. O supreme one, the king will then restrain himself from the sacrifice. O king of snakes, O one with great intelligence, believe all that I say. Believe that what I have resolved is always fulfilled. Vasuki replied, O Astika, my head is whirling and my heart is splintering. I cannot see the directions and I am oppressed because of the curse of a Brahmana. Astika said, O supreme among snakes, you should not suffer any more. I shall destroy the fear that comes to you from the blazing fire and the curse of the Brahmana, which has energy like the terrible fire at the time of destruction. You need not fear any more. Then, after having removed the terrible fever from Vasuki's mind and taking it to his own limbs, Astika, supreme among Brahmanas, swiftly went to where Janamijaya's sacrifice, adorned with all the qualities, was being held. Having gone there, Astika saw the splendid grounds that had been laid out for the sacrifice, populated with numerous sadasyas. Was sadasyas? Assistants, as radiant as the sun and the fire. But the gatekeepers refused to allow entry to that best of Brahmanas. To gain entry, the best of Brahmanas praised the sacrifice. Astika said, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage, Soma's sacrifice, Varuna's sacrifice, and Prajapati's sacrifice were held in Prayag in ancient times. But your sacrifice is in no way inferior to theirs. Blessed be those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage. Shakra, Indra, performed 100 sacrifices, but your sacrifice is equal to 100 of his. Blessed are those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharata lineage. This sacrifice of yours is like the sacrifices of Yama, Harimeda, and King Rantideva. Blessed are those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage. This sacrifice of yours is like the sacrifices of Gaya, King Shashabindu, and King Vaishravana. Blessed are those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage. The sacrifice of yours is like the sacrifices of Nriga, Ajamida, and Dasharat's son, Ram. Blessed are those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage. This sacrifice of yours is like the sacrifice of King Yudhishthir, who was the son of a god and a descendant of Ajamida, and was famous even in heaven. Blessed are those who are dear to us, O son of Parikshit, O best of the Bharat lineage. This sacrifice of yours is like the sacrifice of Satyavati's son, Krishna Dvipayan, in which he himself was the priest. Blessed are those who are dear to us. Those who are seated here are as radiant as the sun and the fire and make it equal to the sacrifice of Vritra's slayer, Indra. There is nothing that they do not know. The gifts given to them are inexhaustible. I am certain that there is no Ritvija in all the words who is the equal to your Ritvija Dvipayan. His disciples travel the earth, having become Ritvijas skilled in their duties. The great soul god Vibhavashu Chitrabhanu, whose seed is golden, who trails black smoke, who consumes everything, and whose head faces the south, is eager for your offerings. That's the fire. In the world of the living, there is no king equal to you in protecting his subjects. My mind is pleased at your perseverance. You are Varuna, or Dharmaraj Yama, like the wielder of the Vajra, Shakra himself, Indra. You are the protector of all subjects in this world. In my view, in this world, you are the Lord of all men. There is no king equal to you in sacrifices. You are like Katvanga, Nabhaga, and Dilipa. You are like Yayati and Mandanta in your power. You are like the sun in your splendor. In the rigidity of your vows, you shine like Bhishma. You are like Valmiki, whose firmness is subtle. You are like Vashishta in controlling your anger. In my view, your sovereignty is like that of Indra, and your radiance is like that of Narayan. You are like Yama in administering dharma. Like Krishna, you have all the qualities. Like the Vasus, you are the abode of the goddess of wealth. You are the source of all sacrifices. You are like Dambudbhava in strength. Learned in the use of arms, you are like Ram, Parashuram. In your energy, you are like Urva and Trita. Like Bhagirat, your sight inspires terror. Soti said, thus addressed, they were all pleased. The king, the Sadasyas, the Ritvijas, and the fire into which offerings are given. On seeing the expressions they manifested, King Janamejaya spoke. Wow, he really knows how to flatter.
I was just thinking the same.
Janamejaya said, though he is but a child, he speaks like a wise old man. He is not a child. I think he is he is wise and old. I wish to grant him a boon. O assembled Brahmanas, give me the required permission. The Sadasya said, even though a child, a Brahmana deserves the respect of kings, even more so if he is learned. This child deserves that you grant him his wishes, but not before Takshaka has swiftly come here. Soti said, the king was willing to grant the Brahmana boy a boon and was about to say, ask a boon from me. But the Hotar?
One of the priests.
Oh, one of
the four priests.
The Hotar was not pleased at this and said, Takshaka has not yet come to the sacrifice. Janamejaya said, try your best to complete the sacrifice successfully. Use all your powers so that Takshaka comes here without any more delay. He is the one I hate the most. The Ritvijas said, O king, Takshaka now lives in fear in Indra's palace. The Shastras reveals this to us, and the fire also confirms it. The great souled...
Did you notice that that term is actually Ritvik, officiating priests? That's what it comes from, Ritvik. It's spelt it slightly different there.
It's another spelling.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
The great souled Sutta, Lohitaksha, was well versed in ancient tales and had known this before. Asked again by the king on this occasion, he said, O God among men, O king, what the Brahmanas have said is true. I know the ancient accounts, and I say that Indra has granted him a boon, saying that he should live secretly near him, and the fire will not be able to burn him. On hearing this, the king, who had been instated in the sacrifice, was angry and asked the Hotar to perform his duties. He chanted mantras and poured oblations into the fire. Thereupon, Indra himself arrived there. The great god came in his celestial chariot, worshipped by all the gods surrounding him, and followed by masses of clouds and large numbers of Vidyadharas and Apsaras. But the snake, Takshaka, hid himself inside Indra's garments. At that, the king, who was determined to destroy Takshaka, angrily spoke to his priest who knew the mantras. O Brahmana, if Takshaka is in Indra's palace, hurl him into the fire with Indra himself. The Ritvijas said, O king, look, Takshaka is coming now and will soon be under your power. His terrible roars and fearful cries can be heard. The snake had been given up. The snake has been given up by the wielder of the Vajra. He has fallen and his body has been disabled through our mantras. Deprived of his consciousness, the king of snakes is falling from the sky. His sharp sighs and deep breath can be heard. O Lord of Kings, your deed is being properly performed. It is now proper for you to grant a boon to this best of Brahmanas. Janamejaya said, "Oh, one who is beyond measure, you are so handsome and so childlike that I wish to grant you a worthy boon. Therefore, ask for the desire that is in your heart. I promise you that I will grant it to you if it can be granted." Takshaka, the king of snakes, was about to fall into the sacrificial fire in a moment. At that very instant, Astika spoke. "Oh, Janamejaya, if you wish to grant me a boon, I wish that this sacrifice should be stopped. Let no more snakes fall down. O Brahmana." At these words, Parikshit's son wasn't happy and told Astika, "O illustrious one, I will give you gold, silver, cows, or whatever else you wish to possess. O Brahmana, I shall give you your boon, but let this sacrifice not be stopped." Astika replied, "O king, I do not ask you for gold, silver, or cattle. Let this sacrifice be stopped so that my mother's relatives are safe." Thus addressed by Astika, Parikshit's son repeatedly told Astika, greatest among eloquent ones, "O supreme among supreme Brahmanas, O fortunate one, O descendant of the Brigu lineage, choose another boon." But he refused. Thereupon, all the Sadasyas who were learned in all the Vedas unanimously told the king, "Let the Brahmana have his boon." Should I go on?
Yeah, are you enjoying it? It's good.
Sure.
I think we can carry on, yeah.
Shonaka said, "O son of Asuta, I wish to hear the names of all the snakes that fell into the fire at the time of the snake sacrifice." It's all right. I'm pretty okay with Sanskrit names. Soti said, "Oh, you who are learned in the Vedas, there were many thousands, millions, and tens of millions. There were so many that I am unable to count them all. As far as I can remember, here are the names of the chief snakes that fell into the sacrificial fire. First, here are the names of the chief ones in Vasuki's family. They had the colors blue, red, and white, and were of terrible form, with gigantic bodies and virulent poison."
Blue, isn't that interesting? Blue, red, and white.
Yes. Like friend.
The bloody French, the bloody Brits, the bloody Yanks, you know?
Hey guys, what time are we going to go to?
8:30 usually.
8:30, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the diehards, we carry on chatting afterwards.
Okay.
But the reading goes on till then. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, with gigantic bodies and virulent poison. Kotika, Manasa, Purna, Saha, Paila, Halishaka, Pichila, Konapa, Chakra, Konavega, Prakalana, Hiranyavaha, Sharana, Kakshaka, and Kaladantaka. These are the snakes from Vasuki's lineage that entered the sacrificial fire.
Vasuki.
Now
Okay.
hear the names of those of Takshaka's lineage as I mentioned them. Puchandaka, Mandalaka, Pindabeta, Rabenaka, Uchika, Surasa, Dranga, Balaheda, Virohana, Shili, Shalakara, Mukha, Sukumara, Pravepana, Mudgara, Shasharoma, Sumana, and Vegavahana. These were the snakes from Takshaka's lineage that entered the sacrificial fire. Paravata, Pariyatra, Pandara, Harina, Krisha, Vihanga, Sharaba, Moda, Pramoda, and Samhatangada. These are all the other ones from Airavata's lineage that entered the sacrificial fire. O best of Brahmanas, now hear the names of the snakes born into the Kauravya lineage as I recount them. Endila, Kundala, Mundo, Veni, Skanda, Kumaraka, Bahuka, Shringavega, Durtaka, Pata, and Patara. O Brahmana, now hear the names of the snakes born into the Dhritarashtra lineage as I mentioned them. They were all extremely powerful and swift as the wind, with virulent poison. Shankukarna, Pingalaka, Kutaramuka, Mechaka, Purnangada, Purnamuka, Prahasha, Shakuni, Hari, Hamahata, Komataka, Shvasana, Manava, Vata, Bhairava, Mundavedanga, Pishanga, Udraparaga, Rishabha, Vegavana, Pindaraka, Mahahanu, Raktanga, Sarvasaranga, Samridha, Pata, Rakshasha, Varahaka, Varanaka, Sumitra, Chitravedika, Parashara, Tarunaka, Manikshkanda, and Aruni. O Brahmana, I have thus recited the names of only the chief snakes, all famous for their great deeds. I have not been able to mention all because there are too many to enumerate. Countless are the numbers of their sons, grandsons, and other progeny who fell into the blazing fire. I am unable to mention them. Some had 7 heads, some 2, and some 5. They were terrible of form, and their poison was like the fire at the time of destruction. They were sacrificed in hundreds and thousands. They had gigantic bodies, great might, and were as large as peaks of mountains. Some of them were as extensive as a yojana, others 2 yojanas long. They were capable of assuming any form at will and of going anywhere at will. Their poison was as virulent as the blazing fire. They were all burnt there at the great sacrifice, oppressed by the Brahmana's curse. Soti said, I have heard that at the time Astika brought about another great miracle. The king, who was Parikshit's son, was about to grant a boon. The snake, Takshaka, though thrown off from Indra's hand, remained suspended in the air. At that, King Janamejaya became pensive. Although offerings were being poured into the sacrificial fire according to the rituals, the frightened Takshaka did not fall into the flames. Shonaka asked, O Sutta, did those wise brahmanas not remember the mantras? Why did Takshaka not fall into the fire? Soti said, when that supreme snake had been cast off from Indra's hand and had lost consciousness, Astika told him thrice, stay, stay, stay. Though his heart trembled, he remained suspended in the air like a man inside a circle. At that, being repeatedly urged by his Sadasyas, the king said, let it be done as Astika wishes. Let the sacrifice be stopped. Let the snakes be saved. Let Astika be satisfied. Also, let the words of the sutta come true. When Astika was granted his boon, a tumultuous roar of joy was heard in the sky. The sacrifice of Parikshit's son, the king of the Pandava dynasty, came to an end. King Janamejaya of the Bharat lineage was pleased and gifted riches in hundreds and thousands to the Ridvichas and Sadasyas who were assembled there. The Lord also gave lots of riches to the Sutta Lohitaksha, the builder who had predicted at the beginning that the snake sacrifice would be brought to an end through the action of a Brahmana. Thereafter, in accordance with the prescribed rites, he concluded the sacrifice. Exceedingly pleased, the king honored Astika and sent him back to his home. The sage was also pleased because his object had been attained. The king told him, you must come again and be a Sadasya in my great horse sacrifice. Astika agreed. After performing his unrivaled deed and having pleased the king, Astika was delighted and swiftly returned to his uncle and mother. Touching their feet, he told them in detail all that had transpired. Having heard his words, the assembled snakes were extremely delighted with Astika. They were now freed from their worries. They wished to bestow a boon on Astika. All of them repeatedly asked him, O learned one, O child, what is it that you desire? What can we do to please you? We are happy that we have now been freed by you. What boon can we grant you? Astika replied, let Brahmanas and other men who read about this virtuous act of mine with a tranquil mind in the morning and evening have no reason to fear you. With cheerful hearts they told their nephew, it shall be exactly as you wish. We will happily do what you have asked us to do. He who invokes the immensely famous and truthful Astika, born to Jaratkaru from Jaratkaru, will be protected from snakes. Those who remember Asita Artimana, and Sunita, names of great sages, during the day or the night will never face any danger from snakes. Having thus saved the snakes at the snake sacrifice, that supreme among Brahmanas, with Dharma in his soul, met his destiny at the appointed time. He left behind many sons and grandsons. Thus I have narrated to you Astika's story, exactly as it occurred. When recounted, the story dispels all fear of snakes. O Brahmana, on hearing this virtuous and blessed account of Astika's exploits from the beginning, an account that increases one's store of merit, one has no fear of snakes. Shonaka said, O son of Vasuta, O son, you have narrated to me the great and extensive story of the Brigu lineage. I am extremely pleased with you. O son of Vasuta, I now ask you to recite for me again the wonderful accounts composed by Vyasa, exactly as they were recited by the great souls Sadasyas at the long extending sacrifice, during intervals at the ceremony. O son of Vasuta, O great poet, O learned one, I wish to hear exactly the reasons behind those narrations. Soti replied, during intervals at the ceremonies, the Brahmanas spoke about many accounts based on the Vedas, but Vyas recounted the wonderful and great history known as Bharata. Shonaka said, I wish to hear that sacred account known as the Mahabharata, which spread the fame of the Pandavas. Asked by Janamejaya, Krishna Dwepayan had it properly recited during intervals in the sacrifice. It had its origins in the ocean-like mind of the Maharishi of pure deeds. O best of men, O son of Vasuta, recite it again to me. I am not satisfied. Soti replied, I shall recite from the beginning the great and supreme account of the Mahabharata, as Krishna Dwepayana conceived it in his mind. O Brahmana, listen to it. I too derive great pleasure in recounting it.
Wow.
Thus ends the Astika
Dina.
Parva.
Dina wanted to go, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh, Dina. Yeah, Dina. Yeah.
The next Parva
I
is
think the
Vamshavatarana Parva. Go on, Baba.
no.
Oh, how do I get that?
Before you start, the introduction
Yep.
there, not correct.
Mhm.
You can read it, but it's incorrect. He's taking Vamsa. He thinks it means Angsa, but it's the preliminary. The beginnings of the lineages. You'll see.
What do you?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get what you were saying about the Bumsa. What were you saying?
He says that in the translation here, in the introduction, he talks about Amsa because the name is Adi Vamsha, but Amsa means
Apart.
expansion, but Vamsa means the lineage. So it's actually lineage and not expansion.
Yeah, the beginnings of the lineage.
Bunks. Yeah, beginnings of the lineage of the Bharata.
Mhm.
Okay, over to you, Dina.
Soti said, hearing that Janamejaya had been instated at the snake sacrifice, the learned Rishi Krishna Dwaipayana went there. The grandfather of the Pandavas was born on an island in the river Yamuna, in the womb of the virgin Kali, and from Shakti's son Parashara. As soon as he was born, the sage of great fame developed his body through the power of his will, and mastered the Vedas, the Vedangas, and the histories. He achieved that which cannot be surpassed through austerities. Study of the Vedas, rites, fasting, having progeny, or through sacrifices. The best among those who know the Vedas first divided the one Veda into 4 parts. He was a Brahmarishi, knower of everything, a wise poet, truthful and pure. That sage of great fame and holy deeds begot Pandu, Dhritarashtra and Vidura in order to continue Shantanu's lineage. Accompanied by his disciples, learned in the Vedas and the Vedangas, this great soul entered the sacrificial assembly of Raja Rishi Janamejaya. There he saw King Janamejaya seated, surrounded by his many sacrificial assistants like Purandara, surrounded by the gods. There were the lords of many countries who had undergone sacrificial baths and skilled officiating priests, the equals of Brahma, seated on the kusha grass laid out at the sacrifice. On seeing the Rishi approach, Raja Rishi Janamejaya, the best of the Bharat lineage, advanced in great delight with all his companions. With the approval of the sacrificial assistants, the Lord offered a golden seat, as did Shakra, to Brihaspati. When the granter of boons was seated, worshipped by the Deva Rishis, the Lord of Kings worshipped him according to norms laid down in the sacred texts. Then the king offered his grandfather, Krishna, water to wash his feet and mouth, oblations and a cow as laid down in the rituals. Vyas was delighted and accepted the offerings made by the Pandava, Janamejaya, including the cow. Thus, having worshipped his great-grandfather, bowed before him, and having joyfully seated himself below him, the king asked him about his health. The great lord looked at him and asked him about his welfare. He then worshipped all the sacrificial assistants who had already worshipped him. Thereupon, with folded hands, Janamejaya and all the sacrificial assistants addressed the best of Brahmanas. Janamejaya said, "O Brahmana, you witnessed with your own eyes the great deeds of the Kurus and the Pandavas. I wish to hear them, narrated by you. What was the reason for the great quarrel between these men of great virtuous deeds? Why did the great battle, which caused the destruction of beings, take place amongst my grandfathers? Their minds clouded by destiny, O best of Brahmanas. Tell me the details as they exactly happened." On hearing these words, Krishna Dwayapayana spoke to his disciple, Vaishampayana, seated by his side, and said, "Relate in full, exactly as you have heard it from me, the account of the ancient quarrel between the Kurus and the Pandavas." Thereupon, that bull among Brahmanas, instructed by his preceptor, recited in its entirety that old history to the king, the sacrificial assistants, and all the assembled kings about the quarrel between Kurus and the Pandavas and the destruction of the kingdom. Vaishampayana said, bowing down first before any preceptor, or before my preceptor, with my mind and intellect concentrated and worshipping with devotion, reverence, and single-mindedness all the Brahmanas and learned men, I shall now recite in its entirety the account I heard from the great souled Vyas, a wise Maharishi, famous in the three worlds, infinite in his accomplishments. O king, you are a worthy person to hear the history of Bharat. Having received the account from my preceptor, I am delighted to be able to recite it. O king, hear how the quarrel between the Kurus and the Pandavas occurred. In the desire for the kingdom, hear about the exile. As a result of the game of dice, O bull of Bharat lineage, at your bidding, I shall recount to you how a battle ensued that destroyed the earth. On their father's death, these warriors returned to their home from the forest. In a short while, they became skilled in all the art of archery and knowledge of the Vedas. However, the Kurus became envious of the Pandavas, who were all gifted with immense physical strength, beauty and energy, fame and fortune. They were also loved by the citizens. Thereupon, the evil-minded Duryodhana, with Karna and the son of Subala, tried to banish them and oppress them in various ways. That evil son of Dhritarashtra gave poison to Bhima with his food, but the warrior Vikrodara digested it. One day the evil one tied the sleeping Vrikodara on the banks of the Ganga and throwing Bhima into the water, went away to the city. But when the son of Kunti woke up, he tore the ropes with which he was tied with his strong arms, and Bhima's pains disappeared. While he was asleep, he was bitten everywhere in his body by black snakes with virulent poison, but that destroyer of enemies did not die. However, in all this In all this oppression, the great-souled Vidura was always on guard to neutralize the evil plans and save them from oppression. As Chakra ensues happiness in heaven and the world of living beings, thus did Vidura always ensure happiness for the Pandavas. When the Pandavas were not killed through all these means, open and hidden, since they were protected by the fate and destiny, he, consulted by his advisors, Vrisha, Dushashan, and others. Sorry, can you give me, I don't have the footnote there, for 1617? He, oh, you're muted. You're all muted.
I'm not muted.
You took Mathura?
It's Duryodhan and Karna.
Yeah, I thought it'd be Karna. Yeah. Brisha. Yeah. Okay. Because he's the son of the sun god, isn't he?
What page are we on again? I just was off.
Yeah, that's what's on the footnote.
Where are we? Sorry?
Middle of, that's 55, yeah. I haven't got a page number.
Well, in the physical one, Mathura, we're close to the bottom of 146.
Okay, I'm there. Okay. When the
Footnote
Pandavas were not
16,
killed.
17.
Oh yeah, Dushashan and the others. Vrisha, Dushashan. Okay. With Dhritarashtra's consent. That's right.
Hold on. Brisha, Dushashan, and others. Yeah. With Dhritarashtra's consent, he had a house of lac built. The Pandavas of unlimited energy were forced to live there, and it was burnt down by fire when they least suspected it. Because of Vidura's warning, a trench was dug, and that gave them a wonderful means of escape, and they were freed from danger. Later, in a large and terrible forest, Bhim, who had fearsome strength when angered, killed a Rakshasa named Hidamba. Then, in complete agreement, those powerful warriors went to the town of Ekachakra and lived there, with their mother disguised as Brahmanas. Having won Draupadi, they lived there for 1 year, and having been recognized, those destroyers of foes returned to Hastinapur. King Dhritarashtra and the son of Shantanu then told them, "Sons, so that conflict doesn't ensue between you and your brothers, we have thought and decided that Kandavaprastha will be your abode. Therefore, give up your resentment and go to live in Kandavaprastha, which has many towns and wide roads." On hearing these words, they and their friends went to Kandavaprastha. Taking many jewels with them and the sons of Pritha, they lived there for many years. Through the force of their weapons, they brought many kings under their vassalage. Thus they gradually increased in power, setting store to virtue and the way of truth, not roused by anger, calm, and subjugating those who wished to do them harm. The immensely powerful Bhimshan subjugated the east, the brave Arjuna the north, Nakula the west, and Sahadev, the conqueror of brave enemies, the south. Having conquered everything, their kingdom extended over the whole world. With 5 such sun-like ones, the sun himself extended the earth, and seemed to have 6 sons with the truthful and valorous Pandavas. Then, for some reason, Dharmaraj, Yudhisthira, sent his brother Dhananjaya to the forest. He lived in the forest for 1 year and 1 month. He went to Rishikesh in Bharavati and there obtained his wife, Subhadra, with eyes like the blue lotus, sweet of speech, and Vasudev's younger sister. As Sachi, with the great Indra and Shri, with Krishna, Subhadra was delighted to be united with Pandu's son, Arjuna. O supreme among kings, Kunti's son and Vasudev then satisfied Agni by giving him Kandava, the forest to burn. Aided by Keshava, this task wasn't difficult for Bibatshu, Partha. Just as when Vishnu sets his mind to destroying enemies, no task is too difficult. Agni gave Partha the supreme of bows, Gandhiva, an inexhaustible quiver of arrows, and a chariot with a monkey on the standard, Hanuman. Yeah. It was on that occasion that Bibatsu freed the great demon Maya. He built the divine assembly hall, adorned it with all kinds of jewels and precious stones. Seeing this, the evil-minded and deluded Duryodhana was driven by avarice. Thereupon he deceived Yudhisthira in a game of dice played by Shubal and banished him to the forest for 12 years with an addition. Huh?
It's another name for Shakuni.
Oh, Shakuni. Yeah, Shakuni Mama, Uncle Shakuni. Yeah, thanks. For 12 years with an additional year to be spent in disguise, adding up to 13 years. When in the 14th year they returned and claimed their property, they didn't get it. O king, then war was declared, and after destroying all the Kshatriya lineages and killing Duryodhana, the Pandavas obtained their kingdom back, mostly unpopulated. O great king, this is an ancient history of those whose deeds were everlasting, the account of the conflict, the destruction of the kingdom and the victory. Janamejaya said, O supreme among Brahmanas, you have told me in brief the account known as Mahabharata, containing stories about the great Kurus, O blameless performer of austerities. But I now feel a great desire to hear this wonderful history in detail, with all descriptions. You should therefore recite in its entirety. I am not satisfied with hearing a brief account of this great story. It cannot be for a trifling reason that the virtuous Pandavas killed those who should not be killed, and yet continue to be praised by men. Why did those tigers among men, despite being innocent and capable of wreaking vengeance to their enemies, suffer the oppression of those evil ones quietly? O supreme among Brahmanas, why did Vrikodara, who in his mighty arms had the strength of 10,000 elephants, keep his anger under control despite being oppressed? Why did not the pure Krishna Draupadi, oppressed by the evil sons of Dhritarashtra, burn them with her angry eyes, capable though she was of doing it? Why did those tigers among men, the 2 sons of Pritha and the 2 sons of Madri, though oppressed by evil ones, follow Yudhisthira, addicted to the evil vice of gambling? Why did Yudhisthira, the best of righteous men and the son of Dharma himself, suffer extreme misfortune, though he knew the path of virtuous conduct? Why did Pandu's son Dhananjaya, with Krishna as his charioteer and capable of dispatching many warriors to the land of dead with his arrows, suffer so much oppression? O blessed with the power of austerities, tell me everything that those great warriors did in every situation. Vaishampayana said, I shall recount the entire history, that which was composed by the great soul Maharishi Vyas, whose powers are infinite and who is worshipped in all the worlds. This contains 100,000 sacred shlokas, composed by Satyavati's son, Vyas, of infinite powers. The learned man who recites it to others, and also those who hear its recital, attain the world of Brahma and become the equals of the gods. This is equal to the Vedas. It is sacred and supreme. It is the best of all that can be heard. It is the Purana worshipped by the rishis. It contains all the useful instructions on artha and karma. This immensely sacred history makes the mind desire to attain salvation. The learned man who recites Krishna's Veda to those who are noble, generous and truthful, and faithful, will attain great fortune. Even sins like the killing of embryos within the wombs are destroyed. On hearing it, the most evil is freed from the most evil of sins. This history called Jaya should be heard by those who wish to attain victory. On hearing it, a king can bring the entire world under his subjugation and defeat all his enemies. This is the best way to obtain a son and the great path to ensure welfare. It should be heard several times by heirs apparent and their wives. So we've got two down, a few more to go. Vyas of infinite intelligence has said that this is the sacred Artha Shastra and the supreme Dharma Shastra. It has been said that it is also the great Moksha Shastra. It is recited in the present time and it will be recited in the future. He who hears it obtains sons, descendants and servants who perform all desired acts. He who hears it will be immediately freed from all sins committed in body, mind, and speech. He who hears the history of Bharat without finding fault is freed from all fear of disease, not to speak of fear in the next world. Krishna Dvayapana, in a desire to bring welfare to the whole world, composed it to bring wealth, fame, long life, pure deeds, and attainment of heaven. Spreading in the world the fame of the great-souled Pandavas and other Kshatriyas of immense energy, it is said that this Bharat is the treasury of jewels, like the ocean, who is the Lord, and the great snow-clad mountain. The learned man who recites it to Brahmanas during sacred parvas is cleansed of his sins, and becoming victorious over heaven, attains union with the eternal Brahman. He who causes even a single line from it to be read to Brahmanas at his Shraddha, or his funeral rites, makes his Shraddha become inexhaustible, and his ancestors are satisfied with the offerings that are made to them. The sins committed ignorantly by men every day are destroyed on hearing the account of the Mahabharata. It is said that the Mahabharata is the history of the births of the Bharat lineage. He who knows the etymology of this name is freed from all sin. The sage Krishna Dvayapana arose regularly for 3 years and composed this wonderful history known as the Mahabharata. O bull amongst the Bharats, wherever is found here on Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha, may be found elsewhere, but whatever is not in it cannot be found anywhere else. Jayo. Anybody else like to?
I just want to read that last sentence. Whatever is found here, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha, may be found everywhere else, but whatever is not in it cannot be found anywhere else.
It's a funny way of putting
done it. What wise those Indians, sages.
Wow, that's whatever is not cannot be
Mother,
found.
would you like to? Do we finish the reading and just have a chitty chatty thing now, or what? Should we carry on reading?
Well,
you're eager, I'm sure. It's up to it. I can easily hang out for another half an hour. I've got no pressing engagements, no suppers to cook, nothing. So I kind of like, there's a lot. I mean, I quite like chatting about what we just read.
Yeah.
Because it helps me digest. Because it's a lot. It's a lot to go.
Okay.
Totally. This is actually a kind of a.
I won't record the chit chat. I'm going to end the. So shall I press end? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't close the whole meeting though.
How do I do that? How do I stop?
Yeah. Don't do it like last time, Matora.
Now, what do I press to stop?